Hey everyone, it's Michael. I hope you're doing well today. And one of the games I played this weekend that I didn't get a chance to review yesterday was a game tied to, I guess it's a licensed game, I don't know, to an IP, a cartoon that I really like, that I've been really getting into since last year, and that's Tiny Toon Adventures. The game itself is called Tiny Toon Adventures, Plucky's Big Adventure. And I bought this at a local shop that I go to, because I was really excited about Plucky being a part of it. I already really enjoy Tiny Toon Adventures now. I had never grown up on it. And Plucky's probably my favorite, kind of like how Daffy's probably my favorite out of the old characters from Looney Tunes. But Plucky is genuinely funny. I know all the characters are basically mini-me versions of the regular Looney Tunes characters, but that's okay. I don't care about that. But I was curious what this game was going to be like, right? Went into it knowing absolutely nothing about it, and I was a little hesitant because of many of you remember PS1 games, right? If they're licensed games all the way back to the NES days, they have a tendency to be garbage. And what I was worried about is that, is this actually going to be good? What is it? Like, is it going to be a 3D platformer? And not really. It's not really even that. I could tell you up front, if you're a teenager or a kid who's never played this before, just like how I had never played this before as a grown man, the controls do not hold up at all. And I'll get more into that, hopefully, if I remember it. But the general game itself is kind of like one of those games where you, kind of like Silent Hill, you'll have areas pretty much locked out to you from the beginning of the game, and as you... I guess I should start with the story now that I think about it. Basically, Plucky wants to build a time machine to go back in time and do his homework, instead of just doing his homework last minute. That's the funny part of the whole game story. Well, Plucky's trying to go throughout his school academy place that they all go to, all these teenager, preteen Looney Tune characters from the show. And every time you complete one of the sections of the academy and getting a part ready for the time machine that he's trying to build, you get a new character, like Babs, or like the Blue Bunny that I can't remember his name right now, the younger Bugs Bunny type of character. I'm still new, forgive me. I'm still new to the show. I'm really loving it, but I'm still new. Hamlet, or Hampton, or whatever his name is the second character you unlock in here. And you'll get each of them, and you'll have to go through the school to try to get new areas and stuff to find pieces to unlock kinda puzzles, and to kind of help you get more pieces over time for Plucky's time machine. And it's kind of tedious, because when you're in the school, Elmira and Max will come after you. I don't know if there's more villains, like a teacher or something later on. I don't know about any of that, but I know Elmira and Max are constantly blocking up hallways, and the way the camera angles are, it's kind of hard to figure out how much room with how fast they walk that you can, like, run around them, right? And you can do that. You can usually kind of, get around them ASAP, but then you get stuck. Or you can run inside of a room and manage to get them to reboot into a different part of the hallway, and then come out back into that hallway, and then run to the room you actually want. But it's still a little tedious, it's still a little tricky. But like I said, there's no real 3D platformer stuff. It's really kind of just a puzzle game, like a lot of us would have had on Game Boys back in the day. The general setup in that regard, I don't mind. It's the control thing I was talking about a moment ago. So for example, in the top right side of your corner, you have a locker in the game, and you collect things throughout the game and use them in other parts of the school. For example, there's a ladder you see hanging from the ceiling of the school, from the roof of it. And you only see half of it, which means you have to find the bottom half or you can't use that ladder. So you can only hold two objects. You have a locker, so anything extra that you pick up, like I found a potato at one point, I had to go put that in the locker just to get it out of the way. And I think there was 6 or 9 blocks within the locker that you could hold on to things, which was a good amount of space from what I had to deal with, from what I played in the game. Only playing it for an hour and a half or so, getting my ass whooped. I eventually, I had enough room. I don't know if by the end of the game you'll have enough room. That's all I'm saying. But eventually you'll probably use all these objects, as many of you know. That's how these kinds of games go. But to select the item by the way, if you're walking around, if you're going up to something to see if there's an object hidden in there, because it's not like you'll just see like the potato I mentioned laying on a desk in a classroom. It's not like that. You have to walk over, and you can either hit the circle or the X button, and that's how you're going to find out if there's something in that desk. And it's going to tell you two different things. At the same time, the way you select an object that you actually have in your pocket, since you can only hold two, is to use the R1 button. Now, the way that cycles through, you'll see kind of like, you know, at the end of the Looney Tunes cartoons when it'll be like, that's all, folks, and it'll have like the kind of like the rainbow circles around Porky the Pig or whoever. That's what they have for the selecting to show you which item you're trying to use at whatever location you're at. But again, I can't figure out, like, is it the circle or the X button that's supposed to be the best select button? And sometimes it'll tell you what that item is you have selected, even though you're trying to, if you forget, if you're looking at something in a room, you're trying to look at picking up something or just observing something. If you have any of those items selected without hitting the R1 until that little rainbow circles thing is gone, it's going to mess up your gameplay. And that's not that big of a deal if you're fighting against Elmira and Max, at least what I played of the game, what I was able to do in the game. But that control of the R1 button to select and deselect items and shit, it is so clunky. It is so completely clunky, and I don't understand, even as a baby game, you could say this is, how messy this could possibly be with its control scheme in that regard. It seems like, to me, a well-designed game for what it is with the puzzle stuff, but that selecting thing, and then I think, for me personally, Elmira and Max, I almost feel like this game would have been more fun if they had not been there, and obviously they're not the worst, most obnoxious part of this game, but like the game will tell you, like, oh, if they grab onto you, use your joystick or your directional buttons to get away from them. Well, for me, the directional buttons never did shit. The joystick kind of shook him loose, but the weird thing is when you're being like strangled or hugged to death by Elmira, or beat up by Max, I guess his is more of a strangling, when that's happening, there's this little box that comes up on the side of the screen, and you'll see like your character that you're playing as eyes, and they're slowly shutting if you keep letting that person strangle you to death. That's supposed to be their life, as in like their HP, their eyeballs, closing almost to the death. Now, this is the weird part. This is the part that really pissed me off. When I was playing as Hampton, in kind of the second level of the game, if you will, obviously you're unlocking more hallways and stuff. I got into a situation where Max strangled Hampton to death. And so when that happens, he gets locked away in another room, and then you'll have to take the previous character, or one of the previous characters you unlock in the game, to go quote-unquote find that missing character, right? Now, the problem here is that Hampton had the key that I needed to get into the room that he was in. So I explored every part of the map that I had unlocked so far as Plucky, the first character you play as, to go find this son of a bitch. And I thought maybe the door would just be unlocked. Guess what? It wasn't. I kept trying and trying, dude. I used every item from my lockers, because you have two, at least in the part that I played. I'm assuming you'll have four, because the lockers are kind of different colors, and you'll know which one is which by which character you unlock throughout the game. So, I'm not even joking, dude. I was so frustrated with how I couldn't even get in there to get Hampton. It's not like you could further the game, like, what else you could do, because he's in there with the key, so I can't even get in the room that he's locked into. It was kind of a boiler room, right? I had other items to use for that boiler room, but I couldn't get to Hampton. And I'm not even sure if I could get to him, would that stop him from, like, you know, when he was being shook to death and his eyes were slowly shutting when he got locked into this room by Max? What's going to happen with that? It's so poorly thought out, like the mechanics of that, and I don't know if it's a me problem or a game problem. This is one of those games so far I have not taken the time out to go look up reviews or watch reviews on YouTube or see the general reception like I did with Scooby-Doo and the Cyber Chase, which I just reviewed. I don't have time to do that right now. Maybe I'll listen to some at work today. But this game seemed, as much as I like the look of it, graphically it's pretty solid. It's the controls, and then it's also the Max and Elmira thing that get in the way for this type of gameplay. But all the puzzle stuff I liked. It's a very colorful game. It's very, I would say it's very thought out in a well done way for the puzzles and trying to find things and use them on the map to find other accessories and keys to doors and stuff. I like that stuff because I am a puzzle, Silent Hill, Resident Evil fan. Like, I'm that kind of guy. This should have been for me, as goofy as it sounds. But at the same time, those other problems hold it back so much as a game. And I wanted to love this because I love Tiny Toon Adventures. And I like this kind of game most of the time. But it just, the design of this, man, it was such a mess. So anyway, I would love to hear what you all have to say about it down below. Did you ever beat this game? How the hell did you do that? Let me know all that down below too. Did you love the cartoon? Who's your favorite character? Is it Plucky? It should be Plucky. To be honest with you, it should be Plucky. Let me know all that down below. Thank you all for watching, guys. God bless you all. I'd love to hear if other people enjoy this or hate this game because I enjoyed it. I just think it's horseshit. It's one of those older style licensed games that just, I don't know, it feels like it's not completely thought out, you know? So anyway, thank you guys again. God bless you all. Catch you later, and goodbye.